question for me, Kyle, and you're going to love this question. He said, when you are answering questions on the thought line, do you look them up as you're answering them? And I was offended that someone thought I would cheat the thought line.
No, I can back you on this one. You do not. You don't want to know what questions are coming unless there's something specific in terms of someone wondering, a salary cap or a CBA type question, just so our bases are covered. But otherwise, like the trivia ones especially, I don't tell you what we're going to talk about, and that's all your brain at work.
I am mortally wounded. Joel, first of all, thank you for keeping us employed by listening to the podcast, but I am mortally wounded that you would think I would cheat and tarnish the podcast. And I also wanted to shout out a young man who I met, a young Toronto area hockey player, Enrique Pospisil. I was walking out of my house and he was working with his dad. He's working doing trade work during the summer. He was working on one of my neighbor's homes. I happened to be walking by, and him and his dad came over to say hello. So I just wanted to wish, he's 15, big kid, like big, strong kid. So I just wanted to wish Enrique a great 2025-26 season. Hard for me to remember what year we're in sometimes, Kyle.
Very good. Okay, that was the final thought brought to you by GMC. We'll take our first break, and on the other side, you'll hear our interview with Spencer Stastny. You're listening to 32 Thoughts, the podcast. Okay, welcome back to the pod. Spencer Stastny, a 25-year-old from Mequon, Wisconsin, just north of Milwaukee. He's a fifth-round pick of the Predators back in 2018, began his pro career with the Milwaukee Admirals, effectively his hometown team. The 2023-24 season, scores his first NHL goal, played his first ever Stanley Cup playoff games. He finished that postseason with the Admirals. On the surface, it appeared Stastny was on a real exciting path. Under the hood, very much not the case. Last September, Stastny did not report to training camp for personal reasons. He remained away from the team until late November. The Predators didn't comment on the specifics. Stastny didn't elaborate publicly until now, Elliotte.
Yeah, and the Predators, it should be pointed out, have a great history with getting players help when necessary. You'll remember Brian McGrattan and Jordan Tutu were two players who really credited Nashville for saying, all right, you need help and we're going to make sure that you get help. So I'm not surprised in the least bit that the Predators kept it quiet and made sure that Stastny was in position to get the help he needed. And we'll hear him tell things in his own words here. But I think the key thing to recognize as we begin this is that he really wants to help people. I hope that anybody else who listens to him and says, I kind of feel that way, I always believe this: if an NHL player is strong enough to get help, there's no reason you shouldn't feel strong enough to get help too.
All right, and with that, here is Spencer Stastny's story, as you said, Elliotte, in his own words on 32 Thoughts. So, Spencer, first of all, welcome to 32 Thoughts. Really appreciate you being with us here today. How are you doing? How's the summer been going? What have the last few weeks looked like for you?
Thank you. No, summer's been great. I just got back from a little trip to Arizona to see some family, and then now I'm just getting in training. Just going to continue doing that, getting on the ice, and really enjoying this summer a lot more than the previous few.
Well, it's great to hear. We're glad to hear you're in a really good place. And, I figured we'd start by taking you back to an important moment in your life, and that's the 2024 Calder Cup playoffs. You're playing with the Milwaukee Admirals, which is the Predators' American Hockey League team. You guys win the first round. You beat Texas. And in the second round, the division finals, you beat Grand Rapids, and then it's the conference finals. You play Coachella Valley, and they beat you 4-1 in the Western Conference Final. And It was then you said you had a major moment in the dressing room that brought you to a critical point in your life. Can you take us through this?
Yeah, the season prior, we lost to Coachella, I think 4-2, and there was a little rivalry there. And the year before, I think I had a pretty good playoff run with my D partner, Adam Wilsby. And then
you scored the winning goal against the Manitoba Moose,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
That's
yeah,
right.
that was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that year we lost 4-1, and I remember sitting in the locker room after that last game, and it was in Milwaukee, and I was looking to my left and I was looking to my right, and I wasn't in a great place. And I mean we'll get into that a little bit more, but I saw Cal O'Reilly on my left, and I was sitting there pretty happy that the season was done. I was absolutely miserable, and I had nothing in the tank, and I saw him on my left just defeated, absolutely just looking miserable, or tears in his eyes, like he wanted to win that game more than anything. And that's kind of when I realized what I was going through and how I was feeling was not fair to him or fair to anyone else on this team.
So what were you feeling?
Gosh, I think at that moment it was it was tough. I mean, right then I was thinking it's like I'm done. I'm absolutely done with hockey. That whole playoff run, I think I really took a deep dive into thinking about the future and thinking about what I've been through. And in that moment, looking at Cal, looking at the rest of my teammates, I knew that it wasn't fair to them. And I was, at that point, I'm retired. I was struggling every day with, like, depression, anxiety. I mean, a little bit of everything, it felt like. And it was just overwhelming. I would call the therapist in Nashville almost every day before the game for what seemed like hours, just crying. Like every game I went into it thinking, I can't do this. I can't get on the ice. I can't go there. I'd hop on the ice. I'd take 10-second shifts. And even our D coach, like Scott Ford, was like, what are you doing? We need you out there. And I just had nothing. Like I had a decent year, had some points. And then come playoff time, I was checked out. I think I had 0 points in however many games I played. And I just wasn't there. And that's when I realized that I can't do another year of this, putting my teammates through that when I'm just checked out, when I'm not even trying to be out there. And I thought hockey was just not for me in that moment.
So let's go back, Spencer, because before we can talk about how you began to figure out how to climb out of that hole and get yourself into a better place, we kind of have to go back and figure out where it all stems from. And you grew up in Wisconsin, and when I guess it was between middle school and high school, your family split up, and some of you moved to Chicago so you could get